Let's talk about the situation where you were in an Uber or a Lyft car. There was a crash. The driver of the car that you were in was at fault for the crash, and you were injured. But let's just say you were trying to be a hero, thinking you were going to get better on your own, and you waited a month or two to see if the pain would go away, and it didn't. Do you still have a valid claim that you could bring against Uber or Lyft for your injuries and for your pain and suffering? You have 2 years, as a matter of fact, to bring a claim against Uber or Lyft for your injuries. But having said that, when you bring a claim for injuries, you have to prove that you were injured, okay? You can't just say, I'm injured, give me money. That's not how it works. You have to bring a case and you have to have evidence to support the fact that you were injured in the crash. It's okay if you've waited a couple months to get treatment. Not everybody runs off to the doctor right away. I understand that. That's not how it works all the time. If you are going to bring a claim for your injuries, you have to go and get medical care eventually and get testing done, things like MRIs, x-rays, to show that there's some injury there. You stating you're hurting is not enough to prove a case. It's going to require you to go get the treatment, the evidence necessary from a doctor to show that you have a back problem, you have a neck problem. You might have a permanent scar as a result of a crash. Well, you can get money for that. To pursue a claim, you're going to have to go and get the kind of care that the insurance companies are going to say, well, you know what, Mr. Jaspon, it's all well and good that your client says they're in pain, but they went to the doctor one time. How much pain could they have been in? What extent of the injury is it to the point where you're asking for a lot of money? They went to the doctor one time. And you can understand when they say that, okay? If somebody's coming after me for a lot of money and they've only gone for treatment one time, I'm going to say, well, you know what? I don't think it's worth all that much. Having said that, you do have a case if you are injured. To really prove a case, you have to prove your injuries. You have to get the treatment that the doctors recommend for you. And you also have to go and get MRIs to show objectively and evidence that you have been injured. Somebody's word that they're hurting is not enough to prove a case here in Florida. But getting back to the original premise of this video, which is if you have waited a while to get treatment after a crash, I'm talking about 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. It doesn't mean there is no case. It makes it harder, but it doesn't mean there's no case. Here's what's going to happen. When I go to the insurance company for Uber or Lyft and I tell them, look, we are making a demand for money for my client's injuries. And if they see there was a large gap in treatment from the time of the crash to the time you first got treatment, they're going to use that against us. It doesn't mean we won't get good compensation, but it just makes the case a harder case to prove. What I would advise you to do is, if you're in that situation, call me. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how you're feeling. Do you need treatment? If you do, you go get that treatment. There's a case there. If you have legitimate pain, you get an MRI, and that's something that we could prove on your behalf. If you have any questions, give me a call. I'd be happy to sit down and talk to you personally to see what we can do for you. Thank you.